All right, welcome back to a brand new video of the Targeted Individual Program, Targeted Experience. So I just got off the phone with Pam. Yesterday I was supposed to go over there. Ethan told me he was going to be home at, I was supposed to go over there in your predator department using their sirens. I was supposed to go over there, and again, I'm going to let you guys in on these things, right? Because how they're conditioning black women is to not care about the safety of their children. And to take away our rights as fathers to discipline our children, to create structure within them, to create good study habits, right? And this is exactly why, like I said, particularly in New York State, which is a liberal state, why women are allowed to leave their children for any amount of time. There is no law that protects children against parents leaving them at home by themselves for hours. Okay? And that's what these women do. So I was supposed to go over there yesterday. I spoke to Ethan earlier. He said he was going to hang out with his friends. I said, okay, fine. What time are you going to be home? He's like, 5 o'clock. I said, you sure it's going to be 5 o'clock? He was like, a little after 5. I was like, all right, call me and let me know when you're on your way home. 5 o'clock, after 5, 5:30, didn't hear from him. 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, didn't hear from him. I called his mother. Have you heard from Ethan? Yes, he checked in with me. I said, okay, well, where he is? Because I spoke to him earlier, and I said to him uh, that I have to come over there to pick up some packages. She goes, oh, he went to play. I was like, okay, all right. Well, he didn't tell me. Well, he told me last night. I'm like, okay, but I spoke to him earlier. He didn't tell me that. All right. She goes, well, I knew about it. So I'm like, okay. I'm like, really? So because you know about it, he doesn't have to tell me. All right. So anyhow, Ethan gets home at minutes to 9. Right. Okay, he's 16. Well, that's fine. The fact that his mother shows no concern. Ethan is 16 years old, right? And again, I don't mind him coming in at he's 16 years old, 9 o'clock. That's fine. So at 7, was it 7:30? A little after 7:30, uh, he texts me that he's on his way home, right? So I'm like, okay. He gets home. I don't hear from him. All right, this is an hour and a half, about a little over an hour, a little over an hour later. He didn't text me to let me know that he was home. He didn't even check in with his mother that he was home. So I called her. I said, hey, it's Ethan's home, but she's sleeping. And I'm like, how you go to sleep with your child out, right? And you come home and you go to sleep while your child is still out there? So I said to her, so then I said, all right, whatever. So I called Ethan. Obviously, yes, he was home, you know. And I'm telling him, I said, listen, if you are not going to abide by the rules that I set for you, yes, you're living in your mother's household, but I'm still your father. So today now I called, I spoke, because, I was speaking to her. She tells me that Ethan was all the way in the Bronx. And I'm like, you are letting our 16-year-old son come home from the Bronx by himself at that time. Now, if he was in Brooklyn, I wouldn't mind. But he is all the way in the Bronx. And you went to sleep. You're not even, there's no concern on your part for his safety. All right? And then she goes, listen, I can't talk right now. Bye, 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 bye. I was like, here we go again. Now, for the past 2 days, I've been speaking to her. She's like, oh, I'll talk to you later. Oh, I'll talk to you later. Today is bye, 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 bye. This, I keep telling Pam, particularly women, mothers, do not understand the nature of the male children that they have. And they don't care. they figure, oh, if he's a male, he'd be fine. And when I say my brothers, women really don't care about you, about us as men, even when we were children, it's a kind of a weird detachment thing that they do, right? And again, it's because Jesus and religion is the number one thing in their life, not you as their children, not you, particularly if you're a black male. Your black mothers, even though I love my mother loved me, but there's a certain conditioning that takes place in their mind, particularly today, with particularly our women, black women, as mothers. All right, she said Negropean women as mothers, and her whole thing is like, oh, you know, uh, I'm not going to worry about things, that's outside of my control. And I said to her, I said, when it comes to your children, you should be concerned. You should be concerned about their safety. This is why I wanted to put Ethan into jujitsu. This is why when you went and put him in, after I said to you I was going to put him in jujitsu, there are days that he wouldn't even get to go to jujitsu, because you put him in the jujitsu class that's all the way by your job, and you expect him to get out of school, to go all the way by your job, to come all the way. I said nothing is for his convenience. It is always for your convenience. I put my daughter in jujitsu. I look for a school that's close by. We could walk there, or we could take the bus. When she's going to middle school, her jiu-jitsu class is where? Right next to her middle school. Literally, all you gotta do is walk half a block and turn the corner. Put the kids in therapy. Why putting the kids in therapy? Because the kids are messy just like her. And she don't understand why the kids are messy just like her. Why my daughter will get up in the middle of the night, while our daughter will get up in the middle of the night, eat food, and put whatever leftover underneath her bed. And so I said to her the other day, I said, let me give you an example. Right? You put the kids in therapy, but you do nothing to change your behavior. And your behavior is directly the cause of them needing therapy. Your behavior is that, but you don't see your behavior as a problem. So you want them to fix the problem, or the therapist go to therapist so that they are not affected. But when they come back in the house, guess what? The house is messy unless I clean it. On the weekend I'm not there. You still don't make them read or study. All right, you show no concern. No concern, but yet because you put a roof over their head because they live with you, that you think that I have no rights to discipline them, to create in structure, right? To give them rules, right? You don't think I have that right, So I said to her, if you have a friend let's say you're living with somebody, they're an alcoholic. Right? They said, okay, I need to go to rehab. Right? But you're still drinking, even though they're not. And instead of removing the alcohol within the home, you leave the alcohol there. On top of that, you keep bringing in and putting more alcohol in the home. Are you helping that person, or are you working against that person? All right? And I said, that's the best example and the best way I can put it to you. Because if you don't change your mindset and start cleaning up your house and showing your children that cleaning is something that they should do. It's like like I said, whenever I get there, the kids' desk, particularly my daughter, messy. Food from the night before, I could imagine, and I've been there in like 2 days, so I could imagine how the house looked. I have to clean the bathroom, the bathtub, right? She leaves here, all in the bathroom sink. When she gets dressed in the morning, makeup all in the bathroom sink. Don't even clean it, just leaves. And I told her, so yes, I said, you need to get therapy. It's not enough because you feel like you're working, and that's an adult. If I'm able to work, I would be working. But I'll tell you what, I'll have a clean house. I still have a clean up. My bedroom is clean. I get up in the morning, I make up my bed, whether I'm going out or not. If I'm home, I still make up my bed. Why? Because I understand how we're being conditioned. I understand how uh, a certain mindset is being instilled in our minds. Some of it is passed down from our parents. Some of it is the society that we live in. But again, what really with her is just she's going to have no concern. Like I said to her today, I said, we have a different mindset. You can go out all day and leave our children home by themselves, not even call and check in on them. When Ethan goes out and I ask him to check in on me, you tell me that why should he check in on you? He's a teenager. Let him be a teenager. But yet, the fact that I make sure that he checks in with you, but yet, when he doesn't check in on me, it's not a problem for you. You know, I said, whenever Ethan goes out, when he goes out, what do I tell him? Text your mother, let her know where you're going. Because I'd speak to you. So the fact that he texts you, if he's going out with any friends, you make sure that you have at least one of the numbers of his friends. You don't send your child out with a bunch of people, particularly at 16 years old or 15 years old. You know, it's the shit that I had to just try to explain to her. Like at 14 years old, Ethan shouldn't be going out on dates. You shouldn't be sending Ethan with someone and their mother or father, and you don't even have their mother or father numbers. You don't have the other parent numbers. That's crazy. That's crazy to me. But that's what black mothers do. Not Negro mothers. That's what they do. Right? Now, my mother wasn't like that. My mother was very, very strict. And I understand the reason why she was strict. She was very religious. And that's a whole nother thing, religious delusion. But you have parents who are narcissistic and toxic to their children. Now, we all are a little bit narcissists. You know, that's just the way we are. It's within the society. But recognizing that and understanding that so you can make better decisions, that's something that you have to be consciously aware of. Understand when people say, oh, no one can manipulate me except for God. Only God's in control of my life. That's religion delusion. This is why they can use technology, particularly based on the microwave radio frequency, to manipulate us, despite our reality, because we just believe. Right? So that's why, like I said, as a parent, you have to do the things that your parents didn't teach you, that you know was a detriment to you, or was a certain negative outcome happened because of that. So you got to change that. That's not a generational curse. That's reversing the conditioning, the psychological conditioning. That's understanding the mindset that your parents were, that was instilled and created within your parents. Right? Society has a larger role in our upbringing. But it is us who are parents to understand that and to teach your children what you and I did not know, so that they can make better decisions and better outcomes. But it just can't be that only. You have to teach your children to defend themselves. This is what we as black parents, and I say black parents, this involves the Europeans too, we as black parents fail to do with our children. And like I said, every black parent, if you can't afford it, put your children in self-defense classes. Right? Because I'll tell you what, if my son didn't at least go to jiu-jitsu and know somehow to protect himself, right, he wouldn't feel safe. I wouldn't feel safe as a parent as he's out there. All the way in the Bronx. She lets him, our son, go. And here's the thing too. She teaches my son to lie, to omit things from me, because she does not, and he does not, want any rules, any structure. Because she didn't grow up with any structure, with any discipline. So she's raising our children the same way. But I am not like that. I can tell all the time, I am not like that. Right? They're my kids too. And I'll check in with them every single day, multiple times a day. All right? Because as parents, that's how you show your kids that you love them. Because when they grow up and they have kids, they understand what love is from a parent. All right? And yeah, talk to you guys in the next video.